really got each other through, ups and downs. It was my A-levels, of our uni years, our very first jobs. So we were, really formative part of our lives that we got each other through now.
And we'd been dating for 7 years at that stage. So I said, all right, let's get married. So on the stroke of midnight 2013, I used my first salary package to buy her engagement ring, and I proposed to her at the watch night service. It was really a beautiful moment, a very memorable moment.
So we got engaged when both of us were about to start our careers, but then work took me across different cities all over the world, and so I came to the realization that, hey, I actually wanted to live outside of Singapore. But Tim, on the other hand, he's this really hardcore Singapore boy.
Singapore all the way, man.
He wanted to stay and build a future in Singapore.
Yeah, I did. And so eventually we realized that, can two walk together unless they be agreed, right? And so we came to the really hard and painful decision that we had to part ways, and so we parted ways. But it was very difficult.
Yeah, and this guy, he said he wanted to stay in Singapore, right? And the next thing I know, he's traveling here all over Africa, traveling all over Europe, and I really didn't like seeing all his updates. So what I did was I just blocked him. WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, everything.
I was coming from the airport and I was a bit late, so I missed worship. I managed to catch the message. I was ushered to the overflow room, which is in the basement of the church, not in the main cathedral. And as I sat in the basement listening to the message on that day was about forgiveness and reconciliation, about loving your enemies. Foster, was it Foster? Steve Foster, right? And so I was thinking about Nuraini during this message because he talked about how the reconciliative heart of God will connect us even to our most strained but valuable relationships. And I thought, I wish that one day Nuraini can be friends with me again, And then in the basement of this church, again, for the third time, I feel in my heart, Nuraini is in church. Go and find her after service. And so I did. It made no sense to my mind. I've not seen this girl in 3 years. I was in a church that I've never been to in my life, in a country that I rarely visited. And yet I was being told in my heart, go and find Nuraini.
I was looking for places to eat for lunch on my phone, and the next thing I knew, Tim was standing in front of me, and I was like, what are you doing here?
Yeah, except you were not so happy about it. It was more like, what are you doing here? and then I said to her, I'm here for work.
And now I was like hyperventilating, It's like, no, you cannot be here because London is my thing.
Yeah, because the country belongs to her, you see. And so I said, look, I can see you're getting a bit upset. I'm not coming to invade your space or whatever. I'm just passing through for work. She said, no, you cannot work here. And then I said, okay, I'm gonna go. And so I turned around to walk away. And I thought, okay, better siam lah. There's no way that this thing can be redeemed already. So I was walking away, and then it dawns on me that the message was about forgiveness and reconciliation. And I said, wow, one insane moment of courage, man, So I turned around to Nuraini and I said, look, I can see that you're upset, but can I just say one thing? Today's message was about forgiveness and reconciliation. And
and during the service as well, when the preacher was talking about exactly that, forgiveness and reconciliation, actually Tim came to mind, and I was like, I needed to connect with him, drop him an email, and so I was, then I just kind of blurted out, I was thinking about you too. And then, I just flung my arms around him and I just cried and cried and cried and cried.
Yeah. That was a special moment, I think it was one of those moments where years and years of pent-up emotions. It was a moment where God undid years and years of frustration, and He reconciled us across continents, across the years. Because He's a good Father who loves us and He wants to reconnect His children.
So what we kind of like take away from this as well is firstly, God heals relationships and hearts, and He reconciles and restores what is broken. Just as His heart is for humanity to be reconciled to Him, He really wants our broken relationships to be restored as well. So if there are relationships that you are yearning to restore on your side, we also hope that our story gives hope that God can do the impossible.
You can do the impossible. The second thing that I think we learned also is that even though miracles can be performed by God, miracles don't make a marriage, and that our process of reconnecting has allowed us to really see who we've become as adults and really recognize the importance of communication, forgiveness, give and take, submitting to one another, preferring one another above ourselves.
And thirdly, He really makes everything beautiful in its time. God is a God of hope. He makes all things new. So put your trust in Him. He cares for you, and He really wants the best for your life. So whether you are single or married, just know this, that God has a beautiful plan for your life, and He will make everything beautiful in its time.
Amen.